Well, the scientists are extremely concerned about the way their work has been handled in the last few years. They do research, they write articles, and many times they aren't allowed to speak about it. So I was just here at a rally. There was about 100 people. There weren't a lot of scientists that I actually spoke to, and Debbie Davio, who's the head of the Public Service PIPS, as it's called, the acronym of it, who represents the scientists, she's going to explain why they physically weren't too many of them in the crowd. Debbie, I didn't see a lot of scientists that had experienced this problem.
Well, one of the reasons why we're even out here on the lawn talking to our members is this government has banned our access to workplaces. So whereas every other round of bargaining we've been able to go into the workplaces and talk to our members about the issues that they have on the table, this round scientific integrity has really hit a nerve with this government, and they've banned us from workplaces. So we've invited people out to events outside of their workplace today, just in front of their workplaces. And let's face it, they're afraid. They're afraid of being tagged and targeted. They've been warned by their employer not to participate, not to step over the line, not to speak to anybody. And they're afraid. Even retired public servants are afraid to speak out, as I'm sure the media has seen over the last little while. Just try and get an interview with a scientist. It's by the time you get permission, the time has passed.
Can you give me a quick example of one of the subject matters that perhaps was stifled?
For sure. I can't speak to specific programs because it really does put people at risk of being terminated. But what I can talk to you about is things like, at a recent Arctic conference, the government assigned minders, babysitters, if you will, to follow scientists around to make sure that they didn't speak outside of the accepted or approved lines. There's, last year there was a story about, $1 billion being spent on communications under this government. Why? Because every report, every scientific research piece that ends up making it to publication, and there's a lot that don't, have to go through the $1 billion Harper communications system, and you can bet that they are no longer pure facts and evidence, but instead have been, modified, exchanged, changed, things left out to ensure that it's supporting this government's ideology.
So we only have about 40 seconds left. I know you're saying the scientists are looking for a clause in their collective agreement called scientific integrity. Could you just tell me quickly, what would that allow them to do if they got it, and what are the chances of getting it?
It's actually a package of things to unmuzzle, to stop interference, to ensure that there is a reinvestment back into science and research where it is actually generating revenue, to make sure that scientists are well placed to do good science on behalf of Canadians. And if we don't get it, Canadians are really at risk. The stakes are very high. Health and wellness, the environment, drug safety, food safety, the stakes are really high for Canadians, and so our scientists are really committed to delivering on these demands at the bargaining table.
So chances of getting it, scale of 1 to 10?
Under this government, we won't achieve anything. So.
Okay, thank you very much. That was Debbie Davio with the Professional Institute of the Public Service.